Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite podcast entitled We Hate You Internet! All right, gather around once again. Things have changed. Our settings have changed. You know what I'm saying? The camera being focused only on me, that has changed. But one thing has not changed. My joy for the intro. It still gets a chuckle out of me. Listen, gather around. We in this thing. This is We Hate Your Internet, a podcast designed to bring awareness on the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. I'm your host, Wilford Hamilton, and I want to start off just first, real quick, thanking all the new subscribers. So we just hit 400 yesterday, and so we had a nice little jump off this video. People really enjoyed it, so I'm grateful for that. Want to welcome, like I said, all the new subscribers. Come into the community, check out the other info, leave any questions, comments that you have. Please interact. We greatly appreciate that. That's what this platform is all about. If you are watching this and you have not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. It really helps the platform to grow. It helps it to reach other individuals who may be curious and needful of this information that we're sharing. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, notification bell, all that jazz helps all algorithm, excuse me, continue to spread the information and the videos and all that jazz. So you're helping us out greatly. For those that are listening, our numbers are also going up on the audio side. So thank you so much for that as well. A shout out to the people in Germany. They really been tuning in Frankfurt and Berlin. Um, Appreciate your fine people. I don't know enough German to say thank you. So, but obviously you know English. So you listen to the podcast. So thank you. If you're listening and you have not hit the follow button on your desired platform, please go ahead and do that. Hit the follow button, Apple, Google, Spotify, whatever. And please leave a review. Once again, those things help the algorithm continue to recommend the show to other people that may be interested. And so we're trying to spread this thing out. People over here behind the camera sneezing and all that. Let's stay human. Hashtag stay human. So those things out the way. Also, like I said, we'll continue to ask people to join the Facebook group. It's hashtag stay human. Real good conversations we have in there. Just want to continue to like build a community where people can really communicate in real time and really discuss some of the issues that we face. Make no mistake about it. Like these issues that are coming from that are affecting us from technology. One of the things we always talk about, we're just trying to bring awareness, right? And so we live in this world and we have our eyes tuned to only see the positives. And some of the things that we view as positive may not actually be as positive as we think. We actually live in a world where we are entertained. If you look up the definition, I've said this many times before, you look up the definition of the word entertainment, it just means a distraction. That's what it means. And we are bombarded with so much entertainment in our society, and we think that these things are great, but you have to, and I'm not knocking entertainment, right? Like sometimes you need a break from, the life that you got going on or just, whatever, that's fine. But too much of anything, what I mean, is always going to be a bad thing. And so you have to really think about like, you know, the amount how distracted we are in our society and the things that are going on that we aren't paying attention to. Like I said, it's like a person sitting in the back seat of a car. The car is moving. Somebody else is driving. You riding along, and are you comfortable with the person that you putting your life in someone who in the person's hands whose hands on the steering wheel? You have to really think: are you comfortable with your life being in that individual's hands? If not, then maybe you should get out the car. Not jump out, but yeah. You know, so we talk about a lot of different issues and different things that the things that are affecting us in our everyday life and affecting us as far as our functionality as human beings. And there's some discussion about different solutions and different things that that you could do to try to minimize. It's kind of like an extension of what we do on the platform anyway. We just open it up to a community of people. And so please, go on Facebook, hashtag stay human, and join the group. We're growing day by day. So for today, I want to jump into the content. Today, we're going to be doing yet another AI update episode. What's new with AI, part 7? You know what I mean? And so today, uh, we want to kind of double back around and kind of talk about some of the economic effects of AI. Some different things that have been said by some pretty substantial individuals about AI and things of that nature. So we want to kind of jump in some of those things and kind of shed some light. First, I want to talk about Reid Hoffman, right? He's the co-founder of LinkedIn. Those of you that are business professionals out there, you're very familiar with LinkedIn. It's funny, LinkedIn is kind of a very interesting place. It's kind of like I heard somebody say it's like the wild, wild west of social media, and I believe that because there's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of. I'll just keep real to the people, man. Like, there's a lot of grandstanding and like positioning, presentation. I mean, I guess it's business though. Connections and certificates and certificates, all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So like people create these professional profiles, which half this stuff may not actually even be real, just like any other social media platform. And then there's like jokes and funny videos with a professional spit. So like I said, some people aren't on LinkedIn at all. They have a profile but never on there. It's an interesting place, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, sidebar. But yeah, co-founder of LinkedIn, he said that he made a prediction that the 9 to 5 job will become extinct by 2034, right? And keep track of that date. That's 10 years from now. It sounds like such a long time in the future, but we're in 2024 now. You know what I mean? Like 2034 is 10 years from now. Like it's not 1 decade. It's not. And then when you're talking about the movement um, of our systems, as far as human systems that we've created, governments and society, economies, things of nature, a 10-year span is not that long at all. You know what I mean? So to make such a massive shift in our economic structure in 10 years would be like crazy. You have to really understand the gravity here of that statement. In his explanation, he just talks about how AI will fundamentally shift uh, a lot of the ways that, a lot of the jobs that are like, technical jobs and minimal skill jobs, like AI is going to be taking, it'll be the implementation of AI will basically like wipe out all of those jobs. And he said that he gave the caveat that basically it would open up opportunities, new opportunities, for, flexibility for workers, things of that nature for those that remain. And then he talked about it'll create basically like a gig system, almost like think about how you have a lot of Uber and DoorDash stuff like that, where people can just kind of go and make some quick money. That sounds good, right? But when you're talking about building a life, it's really difficult to have a job like that that doesn't provide a certain level of stability. That's one issue. The second issue, which is even more important, is that in a job like that, it becomes very difficult for a person to plan for their future as far as when they get older. You basically have a situation where a person has to work till they die. You know what I mean? Hey, and I know I thought about this before, like talking about the decline of the pension plan and things of that nature. Obviously, I understand a lot of companies aren't really, taking care of people for the rest of their lives. Anyway, that model is quickly going away as we speak. I get it, but you still have 401k matching and different things of that nature to help to prepare people for the later end of their lives. But with a gig system, like there is nothing in place for that. You just out there like just getting in where you fit in and getting a quick dollar. It's like I said, like freelance, like, but there is no stability in that. You know what I mean? So if everybody's working jobs like that, like it benefits the companies because they can able to, get move around and get stuff done with the minimal cost. But for the individuals, like it's not a great setup. I keep hearing this counter argument about people being free from their mundane work to be able to be more creative, but you know, and I hate to, I'm not, y'all know me, man. I'm not like just this negative, per negative Nancy type. Negative Norman, I guess. I am a man. So. But like, you know, I don't do the tinfoil hat thing. Like that's not how I get down. But you have to really like think about stuff. Like, man, we really, like I said, man, we gotta slow down and really start thinking, using our, put our, as we used to say, those people that put on your thinking cap. It's very important because uh hmm, okay, we're gonna shoot it. Like our world as a whole, you know what? I won't even say that. What I will say, no, our world as a whole is getting not it's not getting smarter. They're not getting wittier. Like they're getting like more and more slothful in mind. I mean, you think about creativity, right? And this is something I just thought about. You think about music, these expressions of emotion and thought and the human spirit, right? And you think about how much music has changed over the last shucks, let's say 30 years, let's say 40 years, going from the 80s, that's when the, technology starts to kind of really be implemented into, and supplement the talent of humanity. Let's just say that before, people had to really learn how to play real instruments and like play the song right every time they play it. You know what I mean? Like it take years of practice to be really, really good. Then you start being able to kind of utilize some technology, try to like, cut corners and things around about the 80s and things like synths and all this kind of stuff, right? And so, but you think about the decline of talent in music, the decline of like songwriting in music, the decline of expression in music. You think about like the music that comes out today, how watered down it is. Like it's just a beat. That's it. Like there is no sense of the connectivity of a song. Yeah, people listen to it while they getting high and they drunk and stuff like that. And I'm not saying all music, right? I'm like, so because there are songs, people still making good music. I'm not saying that, but the quality, the quantity of quality music. You think about that. Like, it doesn't take much to have a hit song now. You know what I mean? And then it's here and then gone, boom. And it can be easy to replace. Like the music industry has really has there has been a very strategic move toward being able to manufacture stars because of the use of technology. You can take a person that can't sing at all. You can Photoshop all their pictures and make their rent all the the nice clothes and the makeup and alter their way they look and all this kind of stuff. And you can manufacture a star overnight. When you're done, once you get your money out of them, then you throw them away and then just find somebody else on the street and rise them up. You know what I mean? Use them, and especially in hip hop. Like, man, it's just talent is a dime a dozen now. You ain't gotta really be cold with your lyrics. Like your lyrics don't even matter. It's mumble rap. Like, but it don't matter what you're saying as long as it's to the beat and it's just like, like, and then it's a hit. You know what I mean? Like, it's wild. You think about movies. Like we watch older movies with our kids. 80s movies, 90s movies, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and you can clearly see the difference in like writing, storytelling, pacing. Like you can clearly see the difference in the movies that come out now versus the movie that came out, you know, 30 years ago. It's like the attention, you can see how the expectation of the attention span or people wrote with the understanding that people could take their time and watch and really follow a story versus now where a story is so choppy, like because people's attention spans are so short and they're being trained to be like that. I'm going somewhere with all of this. Like a movie, as long as there's big explosions and slapstick and gaudy comedy, raunchy type stuff, or just a whole bunch of sex. Like that's all you need. You don't. The story really doesn't even matter anymore. Like as long as the special effects are good enough, a couple of tongue-in-cheek jokes, butt jokes and stuff like that. We talk about that's with kids movies too. Like, you don't really need to have any quality. Some lights and some big stuff moving around, and like you just throw a story together and that's it. You know what I mean? Like I can't tell how many movies I've seen that come out lately where it's just like it started out good and it just fall apart because you can't finish a story. So I say all that to say our society is being trained to be able to readily digest subpar products. Like I mean, and then we even got to talk about food, clothes, like everything. Like our society is being trained to accept subpar and like subpar products. So to say that these people, that your workforce of the future is going to be that you're going to unlock their creativity, like their creativity is being dulled as we speak. You know what I mean? Like you don't even have the time to think of something witty because your brain moving so fast. People on so much drugs and pharmaceutical, both prescription and non. You know what I mean? Like people don't even have time to be creative. They don't even have time to follow their thoughts. You know what I mean? Now, it's not to say that there aren't any creative people out there. Please, but I'm just talking about we're talking about the masses. We're not talking about these exceptional individuals. We're talking about just regular everyday people. Most of these people don't even know how to be creative. They don't even know themselves well enough to know how they unlock their creativity. You know what I mean? So this idea that like, oh yeah, that's just really rich people speak, if we're gonna keep it real, to continue to once again distract the normal Joe, you know what I mean, from what's coming. But you keep, like I said, you mark 2034 in your head. We're gonna talk about that some more. There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of predictions that are being made for 2034, 2035, for a lot of stuff to change. That's 10 years. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you, like I've told you before, you need to start making some adjustments now. You need to start training your mind now. You need to start thinking outside the box now. You know what I mean? You can't wait till this stuff run up, like take this tsunami to hit. It's gonna be too late. Everything's washed away, and you just you're homeless, and you just, you know what I mean? Like you wiped out. You need to start taking this stuff seriously. I was thinking earlier. There was a time, in our history as human beings, that you didn't have light switches in houses. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a such thing as commercial electricity. There was lightning bolts in the sky, but there was no such thing as consumable electricity for society. You know what I mean? So there, like I said, there was a time when that wasn't even imagined. But now we can't imagine a world without it. It has fundamentally changed the way that we do everything in our lives. It made 24-hour cities and 24-hour work possible. Consumable electricity. You think about the internet, which is like, the internet is still not that old. 30 years, you know what I mean? Like, give or take, as far as its mainstream spread, as far as it's affecting, every aspect of our lives. 30 years, let's say 40. 40 years, you see how much has changed, how much the internet has changed fundamentally the way that we operate as human beings. The reason I'm saying that is because, make no mistake about it, while we're all distracted with all the entertainment that is being given to us, like this AI thing, it's coming. And it is going to fundamentally change the way that we operate as human beings. And before you realize all the changes that have come, it's going to be too late. You know what I mean? You can't wait till you're going to wake up one day and realize like the world that you used to live in is like, it's no more. And it's happening so fast with all these different iterations and all these innovations, like we can't even keep up. There was a time when things moved a lot slower as far as human development. But you think about, and we talked about this before, how much the world changes from like one generation to the next. It used to be, you can have 3-4 generations pass and everything pretty much stays the same. And the relevancy of the information that generation one has, grandparents say, is still relevant when you have a grandchild. They can still look up to their grandparents and say, oh man, they're wise and they're smart and like they can teach you things. But you think about now, like from my generation to my kids' generation, it's totally different. The world is totally different. And when my kids have children, The world that their children live is going to be totally different than when like we're moving that fast, and those things have ramifications. You got to understand these things. Make no mistake about it. Like you cannot take this lightly. A lot of time people are talking about this. Oh, AI is not that big of a deal, but that's because you're not paying attention. It's because you don't really understand how our world can change. And if you're not prepared for that change, you just get left behind. People are relating AI to the Industrial Revolution or any other breakthroughs in technology or methodology in human history. But never has there been a time in human history where an outside intellect has been developed. That's the thing that is totally different about AI than anything else. With any other innovation in human history, there had to be a human being involved in order for that technology to be effective. There still had a need for a human interface, a human for humanity to be imposed on that. It was to be used as a tool. It changed things, yes, but it wasn't an independent tool. It still needed humanity's imprint in order to function, right? But AI is something different. It's able to function now. I get it. Like, oh, well, you still need to be. It still feeds off of human intellect, and it learns off from based on human understanding and interaction with humanity, things of that nature. I get you, but nonetheless, you've created something that can operate on its own, and so in ways that we really don't even altogether understand. So you have to take into account like this thing is brand new. You know, Chat GPT, which a lot of people still don't use, right? Like Chat GPT is only 2 years old, 2022. You know what I mean? And like you think about how much it's already changing things. People that are in business, people that are entrepreneurs, they're using this stuff. Make no mistake about it. People that used to have like small staffs, they're laying those staffs off. They don't need them anymore because ChatGPT is able to do so much, and it's only going to get better. Like you got to understand, like this stuff is brand new. You know what I mean? Like just like just like the internet when it first started, you know, it had dial up. You know, like we don't have dial up anymore. You know, you lose connection all the time. Like you got small computers in your pocket. Like things change fast. You gotta understand. Like this AI thing this is not. It ain't gonna stay like this. It's gonna get worse. Like there's a company called Neo, and they are coming out with these like personal assistant robots. They got $100 million to start developing this and really start testing it in home. They're designed to be able to like do so it's like a little like robot butler, you know what I mean? But he's your friend. You know, um, this stuff is coming. Like, please don't underestimate this, right? You're looking at people that watch Back to the Future. Oh yeah, that stuff didn't come to pass. Flying cars, yeah, okay. The regulation that comes with a flying car is way more difficult to map out than it does with a robot in your house. You know what I mean? Yeah, there'll be legal and liabilities that have to be worked out, but it's not comparable. You know what I mean? You gotta understand that. And I'm emphasizing this so much because, like I said, there was a time when consumable electricity wasn't a thing, and then it became a thing, and it fundamentally changed everything, every facet of our lives as human beings. The internet was not a thing 50 years ago. You know what I mean? In 50 years, the internet has absolutely changed every aspect of our lives as human beings. So I point those two examples out because I'm trying to help you understand there are innovations that come out that do change the way that our every aspect of our lives, and AI will definitely be one of those things. Please understand. Do not take this lightly. I'm not trying to like scare you. Be oh crap, you know what I mean, Terminator. And like no man, but you need to take this stuff serious. You need to be in the know of what's going on, and you need to start preparing your mind. You know what I mean, for the things that are coming, because it's going to change everything that you know, everything that you know. So uh, second point. I think I ran a little too long on that, but second point, Jack Dorsey, right? He used to be former CEO of Twitter. He he went on, you know, did a presentation and he was discussing how deepfakes, you know, and we talked about deepfakes, just the ability to generate realistic replicas of people or things or whatever. And it's you know, it can, like, you take a celebrity's face and put it on somebody else's body, and it's so realistic that you can't tell the difference. You see a lot of stuff with the AI, you know, creations of people and faces and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, he's like, in the next 5 to 10 years, you know, what is 10 years again? 2034? Yep. Next 5 to 10 years, like, you're not going to be able to tell the difference between fake and real. With the technology that's coming out, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. You're going to feel like you're in a simulation. And like, we live in this world where people Photoshop stuff. So it's like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. But when you're looking at a video and you can't tell if that person's real or not, that is going to do something to people's psychology. You got to understand that. When people watch TV, it's like TV. When people watch TV, they know that that individual, when we watch any media, so here's two things we want to point out. When we watch any media, the first thing that you understand is that, or you know in your head, when you see a person, that's a real person. You don't ever think in your mind that person does not exist anywhere in the world. You think that person's real if you look at them. That's one. Two, you also understand that person is a character. If it's a movie, you understand that that person is playing a character. They're not a real. Now, I get it. People get a little, you know what I'm saying? People do a great job in the movie, and then, you know, people get a little too attached. You know what I mean? That's how he had Lawrence Fishburne talking about he played Ike Turner. People running up on him in the streets. I mean, say, why you do that girl like that? I get it, yeah, right? But but like I said, people look at that and they say he's a real person, and then people can understand, okay, you know, he did a great job, but he was just acting. He's playing a character. You know, we talked about how social media is a little bit different, right? Like, you watch social media and you see these people on your screens and you think that, you know, that they're real people, but then sometimes you may think that they're really doing and saying and they are the person that they present themselves to be on social media. And that's where the lines are blurred between traditional media, you know, TV, movies, whatever, and then social media, because you can't always tell if what you're watching is real or not. But then he's saying, but the point that Jack Dorsey is making is that, like, in 5 to 10 years, you won't be able to tell if these AI generated images are real or not. Like, it'll be that good. And that's a really strange and crazy space to be in if you're looking at this person on your screen and you have to ask yourself, you have to question, does this person actually exist or not? We've never been there before in our history. That's a wild concept. Like, if you really sit and just think about that, when you look on your screen, you have to say, did this person actually exist on the earth anywhere? Or they're just a figment of someone's imagination, but they talking to you and they being friendly and they being funny. And so you're connecting this thing on a real human level, but this image you're watching may not exist anywhere on the earth. They are not real at all. That's a very strange place. So then you start talking about connectivity issues. People already have issues connecting with other human beings anyway. Now you're talking about, I can't even tell if this person is real. Like, it can start getting really crazy. And the people are not considering how fragile the human psyche can be. You know what I mean? You know how much money is made off of, like, psychiatry, psychiatric pharmaceuticals? Like, I mean, dude, because the human psyche, it can be pretty weak. And so you start you start dealing with a person's sense of reality, like, that has some major psychological effects. You gotta, like, schizophrenia is a thing. It's like a major thing. That man has been separated from reality. That's what, so you're talking about on a large scale, human beings are gonna start questioning what is real and what is not. Dude, that's major psychology. You got, like, these things are important that you have to start understanding and preparing your mind to understand, hey, I like this, what I'm watching. It's funny, but this may not be real, and that's okay. Like, and as simple as that is to explain, you need to have that in your bag. Because if you don't, it's gonna start getting real weird, and then you don't know how that affects people, man. But it can cause, when people start slipping away from reality, bad things can happen. You see what I'm saying? And so, um, I think you got enough information, so we're gonna just wrap this thing up, right? um, I'm gonna say that again, like I said earlier. Um, there was a time in our human history where consumable electricity wasn't a thing, right? People used to go to bed, at night. You could see all the stars in the sky. And when the sun went down, it was time to stop working. It was time to rest. And then when the sun came up in the morning, it's time to get up and get busy. And we worked with the rest of nature, But then when electricity became a consumable commodity, and our infrastructure was redesigned in order to utilize this commodity, we became 24-hour creatures, and it fundamentally changed everything. You know what I mean? Like it changes it changed everything about the way that we function in our society. Uh, Once again, you talk about the internet, and 50 years ago, the internet wasn't a thing, and now you talk about it affects every aspect of our lives. Make no mistake, AI is going to change every aspect of our lives. And it's going to change it in ways that we can't even imagine. Because with electricity, it's an inanimate object or inanimate force. We just have to we just bend it into our will. The internet, once again, inanimate force, inanimate technology, and we utilize it as a tool to be able to get things done. AI is a little bit different, because it has an autonomy that we aren't familiar with. Never in our history we dealt with another entity that has its own autonomy. We 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 and we don't know the ramifications of that. We really don't, because we've never dealt with something like that as human beings. Um, and it's something that, you need to put your phones down. You need to start really looking and thinking about these things, really start to contemplate and understand, like, and really start using your thinking, using your mind, and really start imagining um, what this new world can look like, and start making some preparations. It's very important. You don't want to be taken off guard with this stuff. It's happening as we speak. Please understand that, and it's happening fast. Keep in mind, like I said, 2034. There's a lot of stuff that's been predicted to go on in 2034. Um, you know, we'll do more of these. I promise. I try to do at least once a month. We'll do an update episode, just to talk about different aspects. Stay tuned. Subscribe, please, to the channel. Leave a comment, please. Leave your thoughts. We love to discuss some things. Hit like, notifications, do all that jazz, like all the YouTubers say. If you're listening, thank you for tuning in. Please hit the follow button. Thank you for the people that have left new reviews. Really, really appreciate it. I encourage everyone else that's listening, just a simple, hey man, you're doing a good job, or like, I love the content, or man, here's something out there you can do to make it better. I'll take those too, but just leave us something so we know you're listening. And once again, want to plug the Facebook group, #StayHuman on Facebook. We're building a community of people to toss around ideas and thoughts about how we can, best make preparations. That's what the community is about. And we love to have your input. So Facebook, #StayHuman, and join the conversation. We're going to leave you like we always do, asking that you stay safe, stay blessed, and please stay human. We out.